Okay, I got that patch in there, and I ran and I got some Rust-Oleum Rusty Metal Primer. I'm not going to prime the floor with it, but I'm going to do up in here. I mean, I'm not all that worried about this stuff all rusting. It's going to be under the headliner and everything. But I'm going to spray with the Rust-Oleum Rusty Metal Primer. I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum Gloss Black, and because I just don't know how long it's going to take me to get a headliner in it. And I want it kind of protected, and I want it to look decent in case I tool around with it next summer without a headliner. Who knows? And then the rest of this we're going to do with that Permatex stuff from Napa. And we'll do all that today. I'm starting to mix up this Rusty Metal Primer. It actually looks rusty. It's like a brown rusty. You can cut it with either acetone or mineral spirits. I happen to have mineral spirits on hand. I'm going to thin it down mineral spirits so I can get it through that spray gun. And then I'm going to spray the ceiling in that car. Got this mixed up. It's a little thick. I can tell by the way it sheens off the stick. It doesn't go to dripping real quick. It's a little thick. So what I'm going to do is use my ancient Astro with the 1.9 millimeter nozzle on it and see if it'll actually go through it. I might have to thin it down a little more. I think I'm already over the 5% they tell you to thin it down to. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if it sprays, and if it does, we'll spray it. Well, I got the fan on. Still a little stinky in here. Well, I got her sprayed up. I don't know how much of it you can see. I got real spotty light on it. Ooh, got some nice runs. I don't care. I wanted it coated. So I'm just going to put the black on it tomorrow. And I think it'll look fairly decent in here, even though I won't have a headliner right away. All right, I got the chrome off this windshield, thank goodness. It looks like they put a lot of extra goop in there around it. Like, here's a big gob of it. And it's pretty strong stuff. I'm sure it's pretty old too, but I think it's like urethane. So these are the regular clips, and you got to catch them in here. Like with the tool, with the chrome style, and pull them back. See how it's rolling back? Then it will unlatch from the chrome, because the chrome's got a lip on it, on the back, that it hooks into. So that's how you got to do that, and it was a bit of a struggle, I got to admit. Now I'm going to go to the back here and get the rest of this chrome off so I can start cleaning up this mess. Get rid of the rest of the little bit of vinyl top I have. I got to run around with a knife, I think. It looks like that got glued in. Must be they were getting water problems way back in the day. So I'm going to trim that out, and then we're going to see what kind of mess we have under here. I'm hoping I don't have to go to an extreme and pull this window out. I'm sure this window is not cheap because it's kind of nifty. It's got a line down the center of it. And I don't want to have to mess with that. Okay, well, I put all this stuff on there. Permatex. Rust treatment. Anyway, I just kind of poured it in places and then smushed it around with one of these foam brushes. It seemed like it got a little foamy. I guess the foam brushes made it foamy. I don't know. So it's laying there. It's drying out. I started over in this corner and it looks pretty good. Worked my way around and out this back door, and man, it took quite a while, but I got it on there. I made sure it was pretty thorough. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that on there for 24 hours. And then when I paint the black, I'm just going to paint the whole inside of this cabin black. Well, I'm digging around this back window because I want to get this stuff out of the way. And it looks like back window is kind of held in with bathroom silicone. Maybe a little JB weld up here or something like that. Anyway, it's loose. I mean, I can wiggle it. I don't know if you can see it on the film, but it's wiggling around. So I'm going to trim around the thing and then see if I can pull the window out without breaking it. Yeah, then I have to see what I'm up against there. It looks to me like some of this lip is rotted through. I see there's a spot over here where, ooh, I could lose a screwdriver into the trunk. So I know it probably ain't going to be in great shape, but we're going to find out. Well, sure enough, that window was loose. It looks like rust is a release agent. But now that the window's out, I can clean this up nice, and when I put it back together, I'll make sure it doesn't leak. So, all in all, not a disaster. We'll just fix it. And we're inching our way forward on the old Cadillac. So what I've been doing is like scraping this stuff off. I know darn well, if I get into this with sandpaper, it's gonna just jam it up every 20 seconds, you know? So I'm trying to scrape it off. It looks like I've been doing pretty good at it. I mean, I got all around the window, and I'm coming back around. So, just trying to use the vacuum cleaner. Okay, up here we're getting into where, look at that thing. That's a big gob of lead. I think rust is underneath it, pushing it forward. They weren't real fussy about it when they were putting the top on. You know, once, because the rag top hit a lot of sin. So the body work wasn't finished like if you did a paint job. So I've decided I'm not going rag top again. I'm gonna just paint it. So I gotta scrape all that stuff off. Then I'm gonna sand the whole thing down and we're gonna paint it. But we're also gonna have to fix this spot here. I have to start doing a little exploratory surgery on this thing and find out just how far the rust goes. Well, really, it's not too bad in the window area. There's that hole there, and then there's one like on the other side. I think you can see it if I zoom in. Yeah, that guy right there. So, but that's all part of that. You can see daylight through the whole C-pillar. So we got a little work to do there. Probably what I'm going to do is start cutting and patching. Doing that stuff pretty soon after I dig this out and see how far it goes. Yeah, I just use this chisel. It's kind of sharp. Get under some of that lead. There it goes. The rust is going away. I'm getting to where the lead's in a clean spot now. Yep, just about got it. There we go. It's a pretty sizable hunk of lead right there. Pretty heavy. This car's gonna be lighter when I'm done. It's gonna be way lighter. So I'm all the way to here. Still got some corrosion here. Still got corrosion. So I'm gonna have to keep digging into it a little bit. There, I think it's got like, it looks like plastic filler over top. And over here it's lead again. I think they just put the lead where they really have the big heavy seams. So anyway, I'll have to clean this all out and then we're gonna dyno glass it. That's what we're gonna do with that. Whew, wow. So I got the old Chicago Electric from Harbor Freight. I think I got this used, believe it or not. But man, is this thing gruesome. I mean, I just used it to take this out, and I used this floppy 36 grit, and man, does that take the stuff out. They use along this seam here, they use a rubbery seam sealer. And what a nuisance to get that stuff out of there. It's actually kicked up a bunch of smoke. I had to turn the fan back on. But this thing really whizzes. You want to take off a bunch of material in a hurry, this is your tool. Plus on the little pins for the trim, this thing just eats them right up. Like there's one right there. Gone. That was 3 of them in what? 1 a second. It really does do the job. And I can do it in such a way where it doesn't leave a big mess. You know, from there I can sand that out, or I can hit it a little more. That one's like flush. You can't even tell it was there. I can't even feel it. So when I sand that and we prime our surface and all that, that'll wind up looking great. So this stuff's all gonna go. I gotta get rid of the rest of them. I think I'm gonna cut this out here shortly and patch this up too. So I gotta figure that out. Then we're gonna start filling stuff up. This here, I think I'll probably weld a little patch in there. Something that I can close that right up, so I'll make a little piece. I gotta finish cleaning out this stuff. It looks like somebody put JB Weld in there at some time. And then after that, I'm gonna wire this all off, clean it up, get it nice and clean, and then treat it. All right, so I got this nasty, rotten hole here in this C-pillar. I already cut a piece for it. This is a little rusted up, but I'm gonna clean it up good before we weld it in. But I cut this out because this kind of follows this contour. I'm lucky enough to where this here looks like it's good enough to weld to. So I'm going to trim that out. And then I got this line here, and that line should get me pretty close to where I've already creased the body line into this piece. So with any luck, if I can get it in there, I'll place it. I probably want to start from this end. So I'm going to wind up cutting that bottom line and fitting that in, and then I'll cut and weld as I go. See how that works out. I think I got my line in the wrong spot, so I'm going to have to double check that, because I got a little line here to cut to, but I'm not sure I like it. So I'm going to have to do some more fiddling and fudging with it. The body line seems to be about the same. I got it so it tapers. It's kind of complicated because it curves, you know. The line is straight, but the sheet here curves. So I think the only way to do that is to work my way down it with cutting it in and welding it in. Okay, so I cut the bottom edge. Got a pretty decent cut there. And this looks like it's going to line up with that pretty good. So I'm going to line this all up, and then I'm going to put another mark on here so I can make my cut up and around the whole thing. See if we cannot get it to fit nice. So if I get that placed there, gotta come this way a little bit. I'm gonna have to trim that a little bit, but that's okay. We can do that. We can do that all. So that's gonna be one line there. One line across here. And then what I'm going to do is cut inside this line, because I don't want to be short. Not that it would be the end of the world or anything. Well, that was sparky and hot. Woo! Had to put on the welding coat. It was throwing sparks, hot, hot, hot. And I probably got the panel a little hotter than I should have. But I don't think it's going to distort. I mean, it's got so many angles and stuff to it. If it was a flat panel, I'd probably be in trouble. I don't like that blade. I don't think it cut real good. So there's the old piece. And I'm about to call it a night, but I want to see how this looks first. Then I can dream about it all night and see. Maybe I'll come up with an answer in my sleep. I think we're going to be okay. I got to get that up to there, that body line. And that body line will go there. And I'm going to have to grind this off a little bit. See this? I left a little more meat there than I probably should have. But you know, it's a matter of being a little safer than sorry. So probably what I'll do is I'll weld this in place and then I'll cut that afterwards. But I think this is going to work. Yeah. Good place to quit. Or start, depending on when I put this on.